To follow the rules of parallelism, you should know there are three principal parts of verbs: present, past, and past participle. These tenses are discussed in a lesson about irregular verbs. The ACT test will include questions that expect you to pick up that there has been a change in verb tense within the selection, and then you'll have to choose the correct fix. This problem is most common in personal narratives. If the selection is written in first person using I, it may be more common for this to be the error for you to correct on the test. So in the classroom, I'll show you some examples. When we're talking about parallelism, what we're really talking about is trying to keep things consistent. There's an established verb tense, for example, that's said earlier, and we want to make sure that it stays consistent throughout the whole selection. Let's look at some examples. For our first example, notice that the verbs are in bold. Make it a little bit easier, and we want to make sure that we're keeping the same tense throughout. Let's take a look at it. It says, I was unsure about my career choice when I was just out of college. I wanted to use the skills of my major, but I like sociology too. I find that studying human tendencies is intriguing, but becoming a journalist was what I studied most. Given that paragraph, a couple of words have been underlined. You'll have the word find underlined here and the word like underlined there. As I just read it, it makes sense. We have a couple options though. The ACT is wondering if those verbs are the best choice. So A, you can change it to the words like, but change find to found. Choice B is changing the verb like to the past tense liked and find to the past tense found. Choice C, change like to liked, the past tense, and keep find the same. And then finally choice D, which is no change at all. So let's pick this apart. In the example, you can see all of the verbs are in bold. And they vary from past tense, the ones like was, wanted, studied, and present tense, the verbs like and find. And then there's the future tense, becoming. The change in verb tenses makes the selection more difficult to understand clearly. So to fix the example, using the past tense for all verbs makes the selection more straightforward. The underlined verbs are the ones the ACT would give you as a choice to leave alone, so we need to make everything in the past tense. To do that, we're going to make the following change. I was unsure about my career choice when I was just out of college. I wanted to use the skills for my major, but I liked sociology too. I found that studying human tendencies was intriguing, but becoming a journalist was what I studied most. So the past tense, change like to liked, and find to found, gives us consistency throughout that whole example. So that means answer B is correct. Use the past tense for the entire selection. So to figure out what the correct answer is, it's important to read the sentence before and after the sentence with the underlined words to determine the verb that is most appropriate. That's not always the case. So as you assess what to fix to use for the ACT test, and notice that there's a change in verb tense, there's one situation when a change in verb tense is not correct. That's when the writer is establishing a timeline of events, or what order things happen. Here's an example. I had decided to go to the concert when I discovered it already had sold out, and the musician would not be performing any more shows. This one, the example is correct, as it is because of the shift in verb tenses is showing the order in which events happen. In the past, they decided to go to the concert and then discovered that it had sold out. So in the past, because they found out the musician would not be performing any more shows in the future. So yes, there's a change from past to future, but in that situation, it was chronological order and it made sense. So just watch out for that one example. Other than that, parallelism, keeping verbs the same, is one of the things that you're going to be tested on. In conclusion, if the ACT is giving you choices between verbs and their answers, look for the answer that provides parallelism or keeps the tense consistent.